I am so delighted to welcome everyone to this celebration of our UMB CURE Scholars. Scholars sitting here in the front, do you know how long I've waited and wanted to meet you? I've dreamed of this day, but I'm not the only one. Our entire community has rallied around the 43 smart and curious and motivated scholars we recognize this morning. In this room are so many committed people who see the enormous potential of the children here today and children just like them in neighborhoods across our city. And they want to help, they want to contribute, they want to partner with us to make sure that every child who wants to succeed is given the chance to succeed. You'll see to my right a group of these distinguished leaders whom I'll introduce in a minute. But let me single out the Honorable Elijah Cummings, our Congressman, if I may. Because I owe him a debt of gratitude. In June 2014, 16 months ago, Congressman Cummings and I had a difficult conversation. It was one of the toughest conversations I ever had. I'll give you some background. For years, the University of Maryland, Baltimore has had a terrific summer internship program encouraged by our congressman for city high school students who are interested in medicine and bioscience. Over the summer, each summer, the students get to team up with our faculty members and researchers, scientists who are known all across this country. They get to learn from them and work side by side with them in their laboratories. It's an amazing program. But Congressman Cummings was rightly frustrated because last summer, we couldn't fill the program. A year ago summer, we couldn't. We couldn't get just 25 qualified and interested students from across Baltimore to apply for that wonderful internship focused on bioscience and on medicine. And so in that phone call, Congressman, I promised you that this university would develop a program so that never again would we have a deficit of students ready and eager to take advantage of these kinds of opportunities. And then a few months later, we got word that the National Cancer Institute's Center to Reduce Cancer Health Disparities was awarding us this grant to establish the UMB CURE Scholars Program. And now I can say to my dear friend, Congressman Cummings, that we will not be in want of young talent to nurture. If you look at these 43 students, you will see that we are most certainly not in want of young talent today. And in fact, we never were. There's a line I read recently that's so true I can't get it out of my head. It's from a U.S. Marine turned activist who said, "Talent is universal. Opportunity is not." That's why we're here today. We're here to make opportunity universal. to dismantle the barriers to access that prevent the young people in our neighborhoods from pursuing careers that save lives, that make people healthier, happier, stronger. We're here to tell our young people that they can be whatever they want to be, and that they can do whatever they want to do, even cure cancer. And so to all of our scholars, I've already told you that you're bright and curious and motivated and driven, but you're also brave. You are. You're our very first class of CURE scholars. So that means you're pioneers, you're trailblazers, and you're going to help us make this program so good and so much fun that absolutely everyone will want to be a part of it. And I have a promise for you. We're not letting you go. There's no getting rid of us. We're going to stick with you through middle school. We're going to hold on to you through middle school and high school and college and beyond. And every step of the way, we'll be in your corner, cheering for you, rooting for you. And believe me, there's going to be no one prouder of you than we are when you achieve everything you're capable of. Now you may wonder, why do we care so much? Why do we want you to pursue a career in the health sciences? It's not only because we want you to realize your full potential and to land a good paying, secure job, though we do. We care so much because we need you. Science needs you. Your neighbors need you. Baltimore needs you. And I'll tell you why. Cancer and other chronic diseases devastate communities like the ones you live in. Cancer diagnoses and deaths are higher in the city than they are statewide. And they're higher still among the city's African American population. On so many health indicators, African Americans fare worse than everyone else. That's not right. That's not fair. And that's not inevitable. We're counting on you, our young scholars, and the many more who will come after you, to change the landscape of healthcare research and delivery, to rewrite what's possible in terms of treating and curing disease, and to make our neighborhoods healthier and stronger for all of us. I see in the audience today leaders in education, in philanthropy, community advocacy, and medicine. I thank you for demonstrating what a community united in hope and hard work looks like. To everyone here, Dr. Springfield, from the National Cancer Institute and the Center to Reduce Cancer Health Disparities, thank you. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, you should be flattered indeed. Thank you for being not only a model for us, but also our critical support. I see our higher education partners in the audience, Dr. Jenny Hunter-Severa, Maryland's Acting Secretary of Higher Education, Dr. David Wilson, President of Morgan State University, Dr. James Tacona, Dean of the College of Arts, Sciences, and Education at Coppin State University, Ms. Heather Lagaman, Director of Curriculum for the State of Maryland, representing Governor Hogan, to the administrators from Green Street Academy, Southwest Baltimore Charter School, and Franklin Square Elementary and Middle School, thank you for nurturing such bright, curious children and for giving us your full friendship and partnership. To the UMB CURE Scholars Advisory Board, we couldn't do this without your leadership and good counsel. I thank you for the wisdom that's guided the program development every step of the way. To Dr. Kevin Cullen, director of our Greenbaum Cancer Center, for being so supportive and making this program happen. To the leadership team of UMB CURE, a group that many of us with good cause have begun calling the Dream Team. I thank you for the hours and hours and hours of hard work that a program like this demands. Through blood, sweat, and tears, never-ending details, you've gotten us to this day. Thank you. And especially to my longtime colleague, Dr. Elsie Steins, sitting here in front. You and I have dreamt this program forever, and it is here. To our mentors, incredibly more than 100 mentors, you are the heart and soul of this program. This isn't a commitment of a year or two or three. You're going to be in these scholars' lives for a long time. You've signed up for good. And it's your profound generosity of spirit that guides us. And to all the parents, grandparents, and families here this morning, thank you for giving your children a safe, supportive space to develop their talents, their creativity, their determination, and their drive. If these scholars are extraordinary, and they are, it's because they were confident of your love and your encouragement every day. Could we give the families here this morning a round of applause? Before I introduce our next speaker, I want to close with a story that, yes, some of you have heard before, some of you many times, so I appreciate you indulging me. About a year and a half ago, the mayor and I did a little event at the Lexington Market to encourage healthy eating among children. And we had children from one of the neighborhood schools. And we did food art. I didn't know what food art was till I came there. You know, if you slice up some apples so that they look like the sides of race cars, and you grab some grapes that can be the wheels, and you use the toothpicks well, you can build a race car out of apples and grapes. Well, my friends, I was not very good at this. And one of the children, 8-year-old Xavier, from one of our neighborhood schools with which UMB works, he took pity on me. And he sat next to me and he said, "Here, I'll help you with this." And he did. And while he was doing this, I made the kind of small talk that a pediatrician like me likes to make with an 8-year-old. And I said to him, "Xavier, what are you going to do when you grow up?" And he started telling me about the NBA and the NFL. Fine, but he could probably read on my face that I just wasn't sure that that was where he should aim his abilities. And he could tell that I wasn't impressed. And just like that, he looked me in the face and he said, "Or maybe I'll have your job." Now, you know, I think about that every day. Not because I'm worried, not for me, but because I'm worried for Xavier. Between Xavier, 8 years old, in the 3rd grade in West Baltimore, and my job, there are about 1,000 obstacles. And our job is to begin to remove those obstacles, one by one. So I can say to these students, any one of you might have my job one day. Many of you will have jobs that are far more important than mine. If we trust each other and work really hard together, you're going to do some extraordinary things. And if you don't believe me, I have some colleagues in the audience, and I hope they don't mind me introducing them. I think they're here. Dr. Laundette Jones is an assistant professor of epidemiology and public health in our School of Medicine. Dr. Jones, are you here? Not here. I know Dr. Greg Carey is here, an assistant professor of microbiology and immunology in our School of Medicine. Dr. Carey. And I'm looking to see if Dean Natalie Eddington is here. Dean Eddington is the dean of our School of Pharmacy. You know what those three people I mentioned have in common? All three scientists are alumni of the NCI CURE Scholars Program. And all three scientists are doing amazing things right here at UMB. And if they did it, you can do it. So students, let's see you go. Congratulations. The Honorable Elijah Cummings is a man who never needs an introduction, certainly not in our community. He is synonymous with our community. Since 1996, Congressman Cummings has represented Maryland's 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. I know, and you know, he is committed to the children and families of his district with a passion and a power rarely seen. He's dedicated to ensuring that every individual has access to what I mentioned before, opportunity. And that means access to high-quality health care and education, and it means access to clean air and water, to good-paying jobs, and safe neighborhoods. Frankly, he's one of my heroes. Please welcome Congressman Elijah Cummings.
I told President Perman I need to give him a license to preach.
High praise indeed.
Amen. It is certainly my honor to be here with you, Dr. Perman, to Senator Nathan-Pulliam, to Dr. Springfield. I want to thank you for all that you and the National Institute have done for us. Councilman Welch, thank you for being here. To certainly Dr. Cullen, Dr. Steins, and all of you who are here, to our mentors. Let me just give a shout out to you all, because Dr. Perman said that you signed up for good. And there are two ways to read that. One is that you have signed up forever, a job forever. The other is that you have signed up to do great things and elevate young people to do great things even after you've gone to heaven. And so I pause here to thank you for what you are doing. Thank you very much. Give them a hand. You know, Dr. Perman, I have been wrestling all night with a speech that I'm going to give tomorrow morning at Howard University Chapel. One of the most distinguished honors that you can have at Howard is to be able to speak in his chapel, and I've done it now for 22 years in a row. But tomorrow I'm going to be speaking on the subject of when the holy meet the hurting. And it may not seem like it has much relevance here, but it really does. What happens so often, and I keep hearkening back to Freddie Gray. When I think about Freddie Gray and when I spoke at his funeral, I asked the question, as I looked up in the balcony at the New Shiloh Baptist Church, and I saw, Shirley, all of these cameras, must have been 30 or 40 cameras from all over the world for Freddie Gray's funeral. I asked one question: did you see him when he was living? Did you see him when he was living? Did you ever see him? Did you see a young boy who simply wanted to be somebody, a young man who had dreams? A young man who sadly lived in an environment where lead poisoning racked his body and his brain? Did you see him? Did you see a young man who simply wanted to be all that God meant for him to be? But in the words of the Negro National Anthem, he was born in a time when hope unborn had died. And that's why this program is so very, very significant. Thank you, University of Maryland. Thank you, Cancer Institute, for seeing our children, for seeing them. Just for seeing them. But you went further than that. You wanted to make sure that you helped them discover what their gifts might be. And parents, I don't know what this program will do for your children, but I want to leave you with something that T.D. Jakes said at my church about 2 years ago, and I shall never forget it. And I wish I had invented it. You ever hear somebody say something, you just say, well, I wish I had said that first. He said that his son, who was a great singer, was about to go to a conservatory to learn more about singing. And the night before he was supposed to go, Dr. Cullen, he comes to his father and he says, Daddy, I don't know if this is a thing. I'm not sure this is a thing. Now, tuition has been paid now, all right? Got that piece? But I don't know whether this is a thing. I may get out, I may go to this school, and it may not be all that I need for it to be, to allow me to be who I want to be. I may not like it, it's too far, I'm not sure. And his father said these words, and parents, I want you to put these in the DNA of every cell of your brain. The father grabbed his face and he said, son, if it's not the thing, it's the thing that will lead you to the thing. If it's not the thing, it's the thing that will lead you to the thing. Our children being as a part of this program will open doors for them and open their eyes so that they can dream. I'm tired of people telling our children to dream when they never see anything. The mere idea that they can come to a great institution like this and have the top person in the institution show up, but not only show up, but bring with him a sense of compassion. See, it's not enough just to see you. Then you got to bring some compassion. And that's what this is all about. Compassion is defined as having empathy and sympathy and trying to make things better, trying to heal the pain, trying to get rid of the hopelessness. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm not here to tell you that our children are hopeless. But there are so many factors, as you already said, Dr. Perriman, that is working against them every single day. So, and I know that because at Green Street Academy, I went there the young people saw me there about a month ago, I think it was. And at Green Street Academy, when I walked, it was a high school, the middle school, Doc, where I had gone to middle school 40-some, 50-some years ago. Time passes. And some people with compassion from Baltimore, some private industry guys and ladies, had put $23 million
into this school. Now, I want you to hear what I'm saying now. When I went, I said, now I gotta interview a child to find out whether they like this school. So I walked up to a young lady named Diamond. Y'all know Diamond? Yeah. Okay, all right. Tell her I talked about her, all right? Let her know now. Tell her I'm gonna talk about her tomorrow too. But I asked, listen to this, Doc, because I think this is gonna really just boost you to the nth degree. I said, Diamond, do you like this school? She said, yes. I said, this is just before I spoke. I said, Diamond, why do you like this school? Let me tell you what she said. She said, because I feel respected. That's a 7th grader. Is she in the 7th grade? 6th grade? Sixth grader. Think about what she said. I feel respected. And so it's not enough just to see them, but then you must have compassion for them, and then you must act on the compassion. And that's what this is all about. And the reason why I have so much passion for this, parents, is because I am the son of 2 parents who only had a 3rd grade education. I lived not far from here on Packer Street as a little boy. And I'll never forget dreaming the dreams of wanting to be somebody. Having been placed in special ed, told that I would never rise up. Discarded, folk not seeing me. But there were people like these mentors, people like Perman, people like Dr. Springfield and Cullen and others who embraced me and saw me, had compassion for me, and helped me achieve my dreams. And so the counselor in the 6th grade who couldn't see my dreams, who didn't see me, didn't have compassion. When I went to my parents and he said, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be a lawyer. He said, you can never be a lawyer. And he left me with some words that are embedded negatively in the DNA of every cell of my body. He said, who do you think you are to think that you could become a lawyer? And thank God I had a mother who may have only had a 3rd grade education, but had a PhD in faith, a PhD in confidence, a PhD in common sense. I said, Ma, the counselor said I could never be a lawyer. She said, well, you know there are a lot of educated fools. And I worked and worked and worked and finally got to 91, the school that I went to the other day, and went on to City College and eventually became a Phi Beta Kappa, a member of the state legislature, a lawyer, and now, a member of the Congress of the United States of America, where on October 22nd, I will lead the team of lawyers who will address the Benghazi issue. Come on now. Don't tell me what our children cannot do. You will never convince me that they cannot be great. But somebody has to see them. Somebody has to have compassion for them. And then somebody has to act to allow them to be all that God meant for them to be. And you're right, Dr. Perman. I will go to my grave pushing for our children because they are so precious. And when they don't achieve their dreams, when they fall by the wayside, it is our society that is denied the gifts that they came bearing. And so, I didn't mean to get all excited. I was just getting warmed up for tomorrow. But thank you very much.
Now look here, everybody, children and everybody else. We have our orders. Thank you, Congressman. Dr. Sonia Springfield is director of the National Cancer Institute's Center to Reduce Cancer Health Disparities. Dr. Springfield is a visionary in population health, and in many ways, she's the reason we're here today. Dr. Springfield developed and oversaw the CURE program, the program we're named after, at the National Cancer Institute, which has been so very successful in increasing the number of minority scientists engaged in cancer research. She's been an invaluable support and coach as we've built our own program. And our fondest hope, Dr. Springfield, is to replicate your success. Please welcome Dr. Sonia Springfield.
Good morning. Is it still morning? I have no idea. But I was really perplexed with why I was asked to speak after Dr. Perman and after Dr. I mean, it's really hard to follow them. I mean, and so I'm going to just speak from the heart because, and I'm also glad that we're in an environment where I can actually give credit where credit is due. It's not me. Scott, let me tell you, let me just tell you, 20 years ago when I went to the NCI leadership to start the CURE program, my goal was really to start with a K-8 program. And at that time, they weren't buying it. They said there's no guarantee that middle school students would end up being cancer researchers. And I said, you're right. Because I'm a neuroscientist and I'm here as a cancer researcher, but they didn't buy that either. And they allowed us to develop a high school and undergraduate program. And the reason they allowed that is not for the reason that we want. In other words, we want you guys to become cancer researchers, but the other side of the coin is that you guys can help address issues in the home. You can learn about cancer. You can tell your parents about how to cook, what to eat, and all those other things that can affect your overall health. So they bought that program. So that program has been in place for about 15 years, I think. And right now we have high school and undergraduate programs all across the country. That program has grown, but we never gave up our dream to go back to K-8 because we need you. We need you to infuse our pipeline. The CURE program is a program that addresses every stage of professional development. And guess what, parents? How many parents are here? Do you know the average cost of a college education today for your students? Average cost is about $30,000. But let me tell you how we want you to motivate your children to stay in this program because we will help offset that education all the way through, from high school to undergraduate to graduate school to medical school. We have opportunities for your students to be supported so you can rest. So support them now for a future of success that we will guarantee with funding. Isn't that wonderful? Aren't you excited? I am so excited. And so let me tell you, God is so good because we never gave up on the dream. And back 20 years ago, it was just a few of us there at this small program that was being developed. And I was blessed to hire staff who were of like mind. So today with me are two people that really are the backbone of this program that I want to introduce. Dr. Peter Ogumbiyi. He was one of the first people that I hired. And he came in with the same idea. I said, okay, we're on to something. I said, okay, we won't let this one rest. And then here comes Dr. Allison Lynn. She's been with us probably for about 3 years. But then she also infused the energy about, okay, let's think about a K through 12 program again. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know, because often when you go to NCI leadership and, we're fighting for every little dollar that we get, some programs like this, especially programs around education, are not their top priority. The National Institutes of Health really main focus is research, not education. So this program is really not a part of their mission. So I was waiting for the right time. And then here comes Dr. Elsie. Stand up, Dr. Elsie. God brought her into my life. And we were talking one evening, because we're good friends. And I learned about her efforts over here in pediatrics and her passion and commitment. And she always said, oh, I'd like to do a K through 8 program. And I said, where do you work again? And she said, University of Maryland. And I said, oh, wow, this is very interesting. So we began to talk, first just casually, and then it got to be serious. And so I think it was last year or year before last, at the end of a fiscal year, there's money hanging around. And so people are waiting for projects to throw in the hat at the Institute. And so I had some money that I could shake out. And I said, well, Elsie, what do you think? If we put some money into this program, you think it would work? And she says, well, I don't know. She said, but let me talk to Dr. J. And so Dr. J and Dr. Elsie and I went out one evening for dinner. And when I met Dr. J, I knew all the stars had aligned. One of the reasons why I don't like to speak is because I do get very emotional. So when I met him, I began to cry. And we talked, and I cried some more because I felt that now's the time, that he put the right people in place at the right time for us to bring this program back to the leadership at the National Cancer Institute. And now we have the strongest support of the leadership, and I apologize that Dr. Doug Lowy could not be here today. But he's met with Dr. Perman, he's met with Dr. Elsie, and Dr. Robin. And so then Dr. Robin became the next part of this stars aligning. And Dr. Elsie said, I know the perfect person for this position to lead this program. And then here comes Dr. Robin. Stand up, Dr. Robin. And so we're here today not just because of these individuals, but then we had to find a home for the program. We said, well, where can we put this money? And so here's this wonderful cancer center here. And I guess Dr. J reached out to Dr. Kevin. And Dr. Kevin said, oh, yes, of course this program can be here. Stand up, Dr. Kevin. So God placed all of these people together at the right time to bring you, young people, the children, our next generation, our future scientists. One of you all may be the discoverers of curing cancer. If not cancer, diabetes. We really don't care. We don't care. But before I leave here today, I want a red shirt because I want to be a mentor, and I'm going to adopt one or two of you children. So when we do the mentoring session today, you know, stand in line, okay, because I'm a good mentor. Dr. Elsie and Dr. Robin can attest to that. But I want to be a red shirt, and I'm committed to this program. I hope to see you at your schools on Tuesday afternoon when they actually begin. I'm going to come by and meet you individually at your schools. But today is the beginning of the rest of your life, and we're here to ensure that you succeed, and you will. God bless and thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Springfield. I will endeavor not to make you cry. And now, another privilege I have. Senator Shirley Nathan-Pulliam represents Maryland's 44th Legislative District with years of experience and leadership as a registered nurse, a graduate of our School of Nursing. We are in the Senator's School. Senator Nathan-Pulliam understands better than most the problems of healthcare access and quality. I know that she is a leading advocate for improving healthcare for the underserved and eliminating the terrible healthcare disparities that affect so many of our Baltimore neighbors. I have been in her office as she has exhorted me and this university to do everything we can. In fact, Senator Nathan-Pulliam was instrumental in formulating the Healthcare Disparities Prevention Act and establishing the Office of Minority Health and Healthcare Disparities. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Shirley Nathan-Pulliam.
Explore, excite, and inspire. What a great theme. Good morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day it is. And if you don't believe it's a beautiful day, just try doing without it. To Dr. Pearman, Dr. Springfield, my colleague, Councilman Welch, to all of you who have done so much to inspire this program, to the mentors, to the parents, teachers, and last but not least, the reason why we're here, these important young people. I congratulate you for being history makers. History makers, just remember that. There's an organization in Chicago who interview history makers. Maybe they'll hear about the CURE program and come and interview you. Now, I want to say to you, dream big. How many of you daydream? Put your hands up. Okay. All right, but wonderful. I was a big time daydreamer myself. But to dream without any action is just a dream. But a dream with action is a vision come true. And so whatever you want to be in this program, in this wonderful opportunity for you, just dream. Dream big. It can happen. At 9 years old, I was admitted to the Kingston Public Hospital in Jamaica, where I was born. I had rheumatic fever and a systolic heart murmur. And while I was there, The nurses took such good care of me that I vowed that when I grew up, I wanted to be a nurse. And I never changed my mind. So you see, if I was able to make that decision at 9, many of you are 10, 11, 12. Is that about age? No, they're 10, 11, 12. You can make those decisions too. You can have that vision to where you want to be. And so bioscience and medicine, oh, that's wonderful. And as a graduate of the University of Maryland, it has taken me very far because I believed as a nurse, I learned about solving problems, addressing issues and caring, and have compassion about people. And because of that, I saw the opportunity to run for political office. So for 20 years, long before you were born, I was elected and served in the Maryland House of Delegates. I served with Congressman Cummings in my first 4 years. And this is my first year in the Senate, and chaired the Minority Health Disparity Committee in the House. Now, for that to happen, you had to dream. I dreamt about being a nurse. I loved, see, when I came up, we wore white uniforms, we wear white caps. And I dreamt about walking around with this cap and this hat on my head. And that was part of my motivation. And then as I served in this city and saw the disparities and the problems that exist as I knock on doors and go into the homes and see the things that need to be done, I started saying there ought to be a law. There ought to be a law to change that. And with that passion that I decided to run for political office. Didn't have any money, but I asked friends to write me a check if they thought I'm the person who could represent them. So don't let any obstacles stand in your way. That was my obstacle when they told me, oh, you need $10,000 at least to start running. I had 50. So I took my $50 and bought some crackers and some punch, invite some friends and have them sit on the floor in my living room. And so and then when I was finished with my flip chart and showing them my objectives and where I want to do, what I want to do, I said, if you think I can represent you, write me that check. And I got my first $1,500. So you see, and I went out and opened a bank account and started the Friends of Shirley Nathan-Pulliam. So you can do anything. And then I started envision what it's like to sit in those offices in Annapolis. And wow, I never lost sight of that vision. I saw the chair, I saw the white dome, I saw everything because I envisioned it. And yes, I also envisioned coming to the school. I would drive by it and say, you know, one of these days I'm going there. Because by then I had 3 children, but that didn't stop me. So I want to tell you, you can achieve whatever your heart's desire. And I'm the senator for Green Street Academy, and I think I'm on the border of Franklin Middle, yes, I think I am, right at Calhoun. But anyhow, and I was there a month ago for the opening. They forgot to call my name. So I haven't forgotten it. I remind your principal when it was finished. But anyhow, have a wonderful day, dream big, and I expect great things from you.
Thank you so much, Senator, for everything you do for us. And speaking of people who do for us, Councilman Pete Welch represents District 9 on our Baltimore City Council. He's a longtime public servant. I know personally that he is absolutely dedicated to the people and neighborhoods of West Baltimore. Councilman Welch has been a dear and dedicated friend to this university. He's been our partner every step of the way as we've developed our University of Maryland Biopark just across the street from our campus on Martin Luther King Drive in Baltimore. He's been there every step of the way. You've been a dear friend to me. And I know that our mutual commitment, Councilman Welch, to better education, better health care, to better social services, and to better jobs for all West Baltimore families, I know we're going to yield substantial fruit together. Councilman Welch.
Thank you, Dr. Perriman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Before I get started, CURE Scholars, can you help me do something? Okay, I can hear you now. Well, I'm going to count to 3, and I want the parents and all the guests and mentors to help me as well. When I get to 3, I want you to yell, scream, clap your hands, and make as much noise as possible. Can you do that? You're awfully quiet. Let's see how much noise you can make. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you. And why I wanted you to do that, that's your celebration of success. Because as we call this program CURE, you actually are the cure. And you start right now, because what you take back to your families, to your schools, and to your neighborhoods are choices, healthy choices, that people might not have been aware of. And you're being immersed into a series of choices that you might not have ever known existed that will affect your future. So as you cure your neighborhoods today, and yourselves and your families, I look forward to much larger cures that you will institute and bring about in the very, very near future. And it's very selfish, because I want you to get all A's, because you'll be operating on my knee. And so I want you to be the best possible, everything that you can be, because you're our future and you're our leaders. And what our country and what the world looks like all depends on who you become and how you become. Now, I talked with Dr. Perriman, mentioned that we're good partners, and the first 2 weeks of me becoming a city council person, I was immersed in nothing but legislation that affected the University of Maryland's biopark. And the first thing that I did as a council person was the PUD for the University of Maryland's Proton Center. And I've been committed to that project, and it was just an idea, no shovels in the ground, when I first became a council person. And in a week, I'll be taking the community on their tour of the 15th Proton Center in the United States, state-of-the-art Proton Center in the world. Now, we talk about obstacles. We have many obstacles that face our children. And I was part of an experiment when I went to high school. And going to high school, you might want to understand this, I had to take a number 15, a number 13, and a number 11 bus to get to my school bus. And it was quite a challenging bit, and it was a day that I had a homeroom teacher who was the go-to guy from the Vatican who taught Latin. And if you didn't do your Latin homework, you would hope the bus would turn over, bust in flames. And it was that kind of discipline. But we partner, Shirley, Nathan-Pulliam, the senator, and I, and one of the things we're partnering with is a bill that will provide, and one that I authored in the city council, that will provide trauma counseling for all of our children who live in violent-prone neighborhoods, because they're collateral damage to the violence that we hear about and see on TV, and we want to eliminate that. I don't think that you understand how exciting it is, how wonderful it is to be part of CURE, because it puts you in a special category, and it propels you, it pushes you forward in ways that you can't imagine now. But in 5, 10, 15 years from now, where you will be, you will be amazed at where you will be. The congressman talked about where he was as a student in special education and how people told him he couldn't be. Well, CURE is telling you that you can be. And that's what you need to grasp a hold of and carry with you and make a part of you, because we can't move forward without you. Speeches are too long. My mother told me the best speeches in the world. She was a council person for 28 years, and because of short speeches, I think that's what did it. So God bless you and keep you. I'm done, and thank you, Dr. Perman. Thank you for CURE.
Thank you, Councilman Welch. Really appreciate it. Before I call upon our leader, our director, to begin the next part of our morning, I would like to offer a special recognition of someone that has come to be with us, Dr. Gregory Thornton, CEO of our Baltimore schools, without whom this program would not have come about. Dr. Thornton. Thank you. And now, last but not least, the speeches are over. Last but not least, to the podium is Dr. Robin Saunders, Executive Director of the UMB CURE Scholars Program, who's going to lead us through the laboratory coat, the white coat ceremony, the hard work, in no time flat, the hard work, and even more than that, the deep love you've put into this program is already abundantly evident. And for all of us, I thank you. Please welcome Dr. Robin Saunders.
Thank you. So now is the time for the scholars to come forward, all right? As I call your name, you're going to come forward, but before we do that, we're going to prepare the stage. We're going to move the tables over, and the people who are going to help us present the lab coats will come forward. And I would like the party up here to help us with the lab coats as well. And Councilman Welch. Councilman Welch has a resolution to give to each of the students as you go back to your seats on that side. Come up and help if I need to. All right. Here we go. All right. We're going to call the first row of students India Acree. Briante Allen. Demetris Beatty. Tyon Bowie. Woo. I'm just making sure. Amira Braxton's not here. We have Corey Bowden Jr. Josiah Bryant. Jaden Buggs. Jackson Collins. Zakai Curtis. Armaya Dennis. Markia Eubanks. Aaron Fennell. and Shakir Franklin. All right. Very good. The next group. We're going to get prepared for the next aisle of scholars to come forward. I'll call her name in just a second. We're going to get your lab coats. At the conclusion, after all three rows have their lab coats, we're going to call all of the scholars back up and take one group photo of everybody. So the row that's coming up now, if you'll go back to the seats, not where you were sitting, but one row before, that would be great. All right, and we will start. Trayana Gary is not here, so we're starting with Naya Goins. Anaya Green. Byron Green Jr. Isis Green. Beauty Holly. Courtney Jacobs III. Davion Hill. Lamar Hill. Lamar. Zykira Jenkins. De'Ara Johnson. Nicholas Knight. Keon Lawson.
Kia Monroe. What is it? Kia Monroe. Who? This one.
Okay. Kiana Monroe. Tyler McKenzie. If you guys moved your seats during the program, please go back to the seat where you were supposed to be, because it's in alphabetical order. All right. We're ready for the next group? All right, we're ready for our next group of scholars, and we start with Caitlin Page. Amir Peoples. Kyrie Roberts. Princea Sanders. Corey Scott. Okay. LaCara Striven. Tyree Smith. Sonny Taylor. Makai Taylor. Joshua Terry. Melissa Webb. Dayon Wilson. Aisha Yosef. Before all the scholars come up, what's up? Before the scholars come up for their group picture, at this time, on behalf of the CURE Scholars Program, Dr. Elsie Steins and I would like to present an honorary robe, lab coat to Dr. Perman and Dr. Sonia Springfield. Please come forward. And now we'd like for all of the scholars to come forward with your resolution for a picture of just the scholars, please. And then we're going to do one with the scholars and the leadership team, Dr. Perman and Dr. Springfield. And now I'd like for the dream team to come forward. The dream team to come forward with Dr. Perman and Dr. Springfield for another group picture. So Dr. Graywood, Dr. Taylor. All right. Where's Dr. Perman? All right, if the scholars will take a seat, Dr. Perman will return with some closing remarks.
Should we get the mentors real quick, or that's possible?
Yeah, would you want to have a picture with mentors?
We just discussed it really quickly. If we can get the mentors quickly on the sides of the scholars, or
With the scholars?
You know what? You're going to lose the audience.
Yeah.
So
tell them when you do it later.
maybe later.
Mentors, we're going to take your picture upstairs during the mentor mixer. We're going to have a group picture with mentors and scholars upstairs during the mentor mixer, okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your brief attention for just one more moment. I'm happy to tell you that this portion of our launch is now concluded. There's much more additional important work to be done as our students, our CURE scholars, and our wonderful mentors have a matchmaking opportunity. And as our UMB CURE scholars and their families make their way to the mentor mixer, I'm going to ask you just one more time for a round of applause for these incredible students. Thank you all.